This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, everyone, hope you're all doing great. It's Friday, nearly weekend. I'm sure everybody is excited about that. And we're very, very close to 40,000 subscribers. A number that I never, ever thought I would see on this channel. So click that subscribe button if you're new on in. If you're an Anthony Joshua fan, make sure you click it. Now, watched a video yesterday with Anthony Joshua on his official YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the description box. Go give that a watch once you've finished listening to this video and you've thumbs up and you have subscribed. Now, there's quite a few talking points in this one, so I'm probably going to do two videos. But on this one particularly, I want to talk about how Anthony Joshua was speaking about his training camp, how it went, and he denied straight away, that he got hurt or knocked down, knocked out in sparring. So he was pretty much denying concussion kind of theories and what have you. Now, first of all, that's something that Anthony Joshua has always had ever since he turned pro. Rumours about him being knocked out in sparring, knocked down, and each and every time he comes out and denies it. In fact, the only time he says that he legitimately got knocked out in sparring was against David Price. All other ones are all just rumours, and he encouraged some of those rumours to help promote some of the fighters, like Lawrence Okoli, Joe Joyce, etc. But regardless, whether or not Joey did knock him down or knock him out or hurt him in sparring, it is what it is. I mean, I think that, listen, okay, so Joey, not the greatest fighter in the world, let's be brutally honest about it, but ultimately, you are supposed to get hurt in sparring. You are supposed to get beat up in sparring. That's the idea of it. That's where you learn. So when Joshua says that these things are not true, I never once got hurt, I never got dropped or knocked out and blah, 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 that raises a little bit of an alarm with me because, as David Hayes said a few weeks ago, that he's heard from Carlos Takam that when he's in camp, Joshua does technical sparring, not full-on sparring. So that worried me a little bit. And when Joshua says that he never got hurt or he never had any kind of problems in sparring, there's a little bit of me that's disappointed in that, because you're supposed to get beat up in sparring. Because if you're winning each and every round, then you're not bringing in the right sparring partners. Because when the pressure's finally on you at some point in the fight, how are you going to handle it? How are you going to come back from it? Maybe this was one of the problems. Maybe his sparring partners weren't the right kind of ones. Maybe these guys were not the ones who were putting it on him and were hurting him. So he has to come back the next day, regroup, and go at it again. I hope that makes sense, because for me, I think anybody who does sparring, you need to get your backside handed to you. So behind doors, if you get knocked down or even knocked out, that's fine. If you end up losing round after round, that's fine. That's good. That means that you are learning. That means that you are choosing the right sparring partners. If you're demolishing your sparring partners, what is the point in having them? That's my theory anyway. And now, as far as the training went, he says everything was fine. He chose Miami as opposed to New York. Of course, New York was where Madison Square Garden is. That's where he fought Andy Ruiz. And he did mention about the fact that it wasn't ideal preparation, with the fact that Andy Ruiz was a late replacement for Big Baby Jarrell Miller. But he chose Andy Ruiz because he was the best of the available bunch, which is true. Of course, he did try and get Luis Ortiz first. And let's be honest, Luis Ortiz ducked it. Whether it's his management team or whatever it was, they ducked it. But regardless, Andy Ruiz Jr., he was the one who pressed for the fight. He was the one who really wanted it. And as I said to you guys before the fight, and a lot of people were sniggering and laughing when I said that I've watched Andy Ruiz many times and I've spoken to Andy Ruiz as well. And me and him together were trying to push for him to get the Big Baby Jarrell Miller fight and Adam Kalnacki at one point as well. But I knew that Andy Ruiz Jr., every time a fighter lands a punch on Andy Ruiz, he throws one back automatically. And for some reason, Joshua should have known that, or if he did know that, he forgot it during the fight. Because whenever Joshua landed a big punch, it's almost like he paused to see the reaction. Andy Ruiz threw straight back. Ultimately, he got caught, and after he dropped down Andy Ruiz, he went straight after him, thinking that he was out of it. But those of you who were with me on the live stream when we were watching the fight together, I said to Joshua, well, I said Joshua, obviously you couldn't hear me, but I was saying that don't engage with him. Stay away from him. He's not hurt. And look what happened. And he was pretty much admitting that although training went well and he was happy with the setup at Miami and what have you, he felt that his game plan didn't come off. He abandoned the game plan. The first two rounds, he was fine. Everything was cool. He was staying behind the jab. He wasn't breathing heavy or anything like that. But come the end of round number 3, he was out of it. He didn't remember too much after he gets hit on the temple by Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a big puncher. And I said to you guys before that Andy Ruiz throws punches in bunches. And he keeps on coming forward. He ain't going to stop. And we've seen with some previous Anthony Joshua fights against shorter opponents, Joshua does get clipped. And usually with the likes of, say, Povetkin's like a one punch and then maybe a follow-up. And then Povetkin will stand back. And that was working for Povetkin in the first couple of rounds. Same thing with Parker, same thing with Takam. So against Andy Ruiz wasn't going to throw 1 or 2 punches and step back. He was going to keep on going. And Joshua should have known that. And I think that's pretty much what Joshua was alluding to, that although camp went fine, there were no problems or anything, he just didn't stick to the game plan. And that's exactly what it was. Now, he did talk about, say, the training camp in Miami. And you seen some images of him running on the beach. Now, he's a young man. As far as I'm aware, he's single. I don't know that for a fact, but regardless of that, there are a lot of distractions there. As in, we're talking about half-naked girls walking on the beach. It's beautiful weather over there. It's going to be a slight distraction, surely, for any man. Thinking of which, I might actually take a little holiday to Miami. Sounds pretty good, right? But there are certain things that, although he is spending as much time as he can in training, there is going to be some kind of distraction. I'm not saying that he was distracted. I'm saying it's a possibility. Keith Thurman said not so long ago that people who train in Miami usually lose a fight if you're not used to Miami, because there are too many distractions. And this is what Keith Thurman says. And he's from Florida. So again, training in Florida, in Miami, and then going to fight in New York, I don't quite know the distance or the time zones or anything like that, but it's not ideal, is it? Because they're totally different setups. And while he may well be going into camp and he may well be, unfortunately, handling himself very, very well in sparring, for me, I think that there's a lot of distractions. But I think that what Anthony Joshua is pretty much saying is that the temple shot was the one that really changed everything. He was in control. He dropped him. He hurt him. He dropped Andy Ruiz for the first time in his career. Now, I don't understand why Anthony Joshua gets upset when people talk about how he potentially got hurt in sparring. Go back to my original point. You're supposed to get hurt in sparring. If you're not getting hurt in sparring, if you're not getting pushed to the limit, then you're choosing the wrong sparring partners. That's obvious. But for him to say that training went well and everything was fine and he was relaxed, again, that was another point of his. Maybe he was too relaxed. He overlooked Andy Ruiz. And that's what pretty much the message that I got from his explanation as to why he potentially lost. There is another one, which I'm going to do a follow-up video on in a minute. But I think that overlooking Andy Ruiz, that's something that Eddie Hearn has said that potentially happened. Many others, like Johnny Nelson, Carl Froch, Adam Smith, etc. A lot of people and a lot of fighters are saying that maybe he overlooked Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz came in as the nice guy. You know, can I have a picture with your belts? And, you know, he was really, really gentlemanlike. But of course, since then, Andy Ruiz, he has got a little bit arrogant about the whole situation, which is out of character for Andy Ruiz. But regardless, he overlooked Andy Ruiz, is what he done. He didn't take him serious, which is ridiculous, really. I mean, I'm not saying that he thought, you know what, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to blast him out in 2 rounds. Not at all. I'm saying that he just abandoned all game plan when he dropped Ruiz. That was probably the worst thing that could have happened, that he dropped him so early and then thought that Andy Ruiz was like some other opponents who just go into their shell. Andy Ruiz ain't like that. Andy Ruiz is all heart. He's all fight. To beat Andy Ruiz Jr., you're going to have to either well and truly outbox him or put him to sleep on the canvas. Because when he gets up, he's going to fight tooth and nail. And any heavyweight, if they hit you, it's going to hurt. So that shot on the temple is something that Joshua just couldn't recover from. So overlooking him, being far too relaxed, all fighters need a little bit of fear. A lot of fighters say this. We need a little bit of fear. But Joshua had zero fear going into that fight. So in a nutshell, I suppose what Anthony Joshua is saying is that he was far too relaxed. The settings for Miami, while he was happy with it, may not have been ideal. But listen, it is what it is. But anyway, you guys drop your thoughts below about it. Click the thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. And I'll catch you all on the next one.